Hey! I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by. Today, we are celebrating Pride Month by reviewing the e.l.f. x Jkissa collaboration collection. This is not actually e.l.f.'s Pride collection for this month, but it's rainbow and very Pride-esque, so I'm gonna celebrate with it. These brushes look gorgeous. This palette looks gorgeous, and this little topper duo looks gorgeous. So if you want to find out if they actually are gorgeous, if you want to see what look I create, how the shadows perform, and what my initial first impressions of the palette is, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys that I also got these Kiss Peace lashes. It's like a special edition Pride lash, and they're completely rainbow, and I love it so much. And it was a whole lot easier than having to make my own colored lashes. But I went to look online to make sure that I could link them so that you guys could find them, and they're not available anymore. I can't find them on Ulta's website anywhere. And I did order everything from Ulta. They were $4.99. They're called limited edition piece lashes. If they were limited edition for only 2 weeks, that's a crazy limited edition. Anyway, I digress. I'm gonna start by opening the brush collection, since that's what I'm actually gonna be using to apply the eyeshadow with. Maybe more, obviously, but at least some of these. This brush collection was $25. Here are the brushes. Looks like we've got the J1, which is like a flat packer type brush, I guess. The J2, which is like a more flat packing brush, but rather than being flat enough like the J1 was to cut a crease with, this is more like building up color in the crease or blending shades over the lid. Then the J3, which can apparently be used as a concealer brush or buffing highlighter into the cheekbones, or the perfect crease brush. And this is the J4. This is kind of like the brush that I have from e.l.f., like a really short buffer brush. And apparently this is great for lower lash line work and adding light to the inner corner. Then we've got the J5 for winged liner, or really anything you want to do with a flat angled brush. You could do brows, you could do super intricate line work, really anything. Then the J6, which could be used for cleaning up your lipstick with a concealer, smudging eyeliner, or even packing on dark shades right next to your lashes. And that's all of the brushes in the collection. Obviously it's an eye set. What was it actually called? It's the Forever brushes, but it's F-U-R, ever, like a pet. Oh, it's so cute. Oh, I didn't even tell you guys. I love this collection so much, mainly for the fact that it's focused around the To the Rescue eyeshadow palette, which is in support of pet adoption, which I think is just beautiful. I have 3 little pets of my own, which they're super, super cute. I love them very much. So I am all for pet love and pet adoption. Let's move in to the To the Rescue eyeshadow palette from e.l.f. x Jkissa. Looks like the perfect rainbow. Hopefully it will perform like the perfect rainbow. This palette was $20, again from the e.l.f. website. I already said I got everything from the e.l.f. website, you know now. And I love the fact that it is a blank palette on the front of it, because whenever you open it, it comes with the protective sheet from the shadows that has all the stickers that you use to decorate the front of the palette. So no 2 palettes are the same, unless you just leave it like this, then of course it'll be the same. But you can really customize your own palette and make it look like whatever you want it to look like. There's the shades in the palette. Looks like we've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, which is almost a perfect rainbow. There should have been 2 different versions of purple if we wanted a perfect rainbow. But that's nitpicking. It's almost the perfect rainbow and it's beautiful. I wish the stickers had a Shih Tzu though, because I have a Shih Tzu and I'd love to put a little sticker of my little Shih Tzu dog on the front of the palette. It would be so cute. So now that we see the palette close up, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in and we're gonna get started on the swatches. The first shade is the shade Casey. Then the shade Millie. Okay, I give up on that one. The shade Yosemite. Then the shade Peaky. The shade Cannoli. Then the shade Sadie. Next is the shade Pepper. Zuma. Paloma. Tank. Thatcher. And Pretty Girl. Then the shade Strawberry. Suki, Firefly, Reagan, Bailey, and Confetti. And that is every shade from the e.l.f. x Jkissa To The Rescue eyeshadow palette. I will go ahead and insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And here you have a video close-up of all the swatches. I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes off camera with my P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 01. So give me just a second, I'll be right back. Actually, I wanted to let you know really quick that I'm gonna use my J1 to prime my eyes with because I wanna be fancy with the brush that it came with. So now, I'll be right back. My eye is now primed, obviously. Now I think for my look today, I want to match these lashes because they're just so beautiful and I'm so excited to wear them. So it looks like they go from purple to red. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with J3, the big giant fluffy brush, and go into the shade Casey for my first shade. Wow, there is a lot of kick up in the pan. I'm just gonna start packing this out here. What I actually think I'm gonna do is work in vertical sections and just start taking the color down in each version of its own shade. So I'm gonna work in columns, really. If that doesn't make sense now, it will in the end. So next, using my Morphe M433 brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Yosemite. I probably honestly shouldn't have taken the red so far in already, but that was a really big brush that I used. I know I'm most likely going to end up taking that yellow out into the red instead of the red into the yellow so that I can build up the lighter shade a little bit more, but that will come later. For now, it's time to take the Morphe M456 brush and go into the shade Peaky. This is a very tealy green. Well, I guess it looks like a primary green on camera. Just looks kind of blue. Maybe not though. I'm loving the sort of general flow that's happening as I'm applying these shades. I love that they're just not straight up and down. I thought they were gonna be more vertical, but I like that they're kind of tilted. It makes it a little more interesting. Next, I want to take the Morphe M506 pointed blending brush, and I'm gonna use the shade Cannoli for this one. It is so hard to control these colors with the brushes I'm using. I needed to pick much smaller brushes because I don't have a lot of eye space to use, but we're doing what we do. We're here, that's okay. Now time to go in with another Morphe M507 brush, and this time I'm gonna go into the shade Sadie with it. Whoa, that is the most powdery shade. I think Sadie and Casey are the two most powdery shades. And with this one, I'm just gonna fill in the inner corner with it. Okay, now that I've got the general color laid down, the next part is going to take me years. So I'm gonna go off camera and do all of my blend work in between and get all of this just nice and smooth and a really good gradient going. And once I do all of that, I will be right back. While I was blending, I wanted to point this out really quick. You can obviously see what happened, but this is doing that eyeshadow base thing where if you have a tacky base down and you lay down shadow, it looks like the shadow is turning darker and then the shadow that's going on top of it is staying lighter and it's not blending out or blending together. So I just have this weird patch in the middle of everything. And the only way that I think that that's gonna go away is if I do a cut crease that's bigger than that area, and that would cut off most of the work that I've done. So I don't really know how I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna just continue blending and see if I can eventually work it into submission and see if that works. I don't know for sure if it will, but I'm gonna keep trying and I'll see how it goes. Okay, I have finally blended it out to where it at least resembles what I envisioned. Okay, you can still see like the green patch right there, obviously that's still there, but what happened, the only way I could really fix that was I just went in with some more eyeshadow base and covered the patch that was there, then packed more shadow over it, so I just kept building and building so that it had no choice but to do what I wanted it to do. But the reason why I'm satisfied with it being there now is because it's lower than it was previously. So whenever I cut my crease, I'm probably gonna cut out like this much of it, so I'm okay with what's there being there. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. Before I cut it though, I'm gonna go in with some more shadow. And for this, I'm going to be using much smaller brushes. I'm gonna start with this Morphe pointed blender brush. Don't know what it's called for sure, but I'm gonna go into the shade Pretty Girl with it. Now this time, I'm not gonna do any more of the packing on and blending out later. This is just gonna be straight blending the moment I put it on, because I'm just gonna be putting these shades on the lowermost portion of my crease, and it's strictly just to deepen up the shades that are already there. So I'm using Pretty Girl just to deepen up Sadie. Then I'm gonna take this Moda Studio Royal Langnickel flat-ish fluffy brush and go into the shade Thatcher and use that to deepen up the blue. And I'm being very, very careful and concise with my placement of these shades because I don't want them to go too far up, because then I'll undo most of the work that I just did blending all of those shades in. And if you'll notice, I'm tilting the brush so that the shade I'm laying down still follows that same diagonal line that I'm following. Next, using this Morphe flat blending brush and going into the shade Tank. And again, taking that right here into the crease just to deepen up the crease itself. There's that patch again, stopping any of that color from laying down. It's like the more I go over it, the lighter it becomes instead of the darker it becomes. Wow, that's making me so mad. And it's just that spot. Okay, this is gonna be a really high cut crease. It just is. Because now with this dang patch, I'm gonna have to take the dark shade up higher. Then going in with this other Morphe flat blending brush. Honestly, I have no idea what any of the names are from these, but I do know it came from the 39L Hit the Lights brush collection. The full set, not just the eye set. Now I'm gonna go into the shade Paloma with this brush. And then last, using the JS4 detail crease brush is I think what this is called, or at least my standard e.l.f. version is called that. Now I'm gonna go into the shade Pepper and use that in the outer crease area to deepen that up. Oh yeah. And see, these are the shades that I want to be right at the very edge of the cut crease whenever I cut it. These are hardly even gonna show. It's what adds that dimension in right before the cut crease to make it look like your eye is bigger before you cut it. Also gonna pull it out here into my wing shape so that it looks all fancy. There we have it. It's beautiful. It's the perfect eye look. I love it. I feel so pridey. And now it is time to cut the crease. First though, I am going to clean all of this excess shadow off with some micellar water because there's a lot of shadow built up. And if I try to cover this up and put shimmer on it, it's gonna be really textured because it just will. So I'm gonna do all of that off camera and I'll be right back again. See you in a second. So I'm gonna start by using this teeny tiny Eco Tools detail liner brush. brush. I'm gonna go into the shade Confetti with this brush, and I'm gonna start putting this right in the inner corner. Oh wow, okay, these are very soft shimmers. They don't need a lot whenever you go to pick them up, because if you do get a lot, they will fall out all over your face. I would recommend doing your eyeshadow before your face makeup with this palette, and maybe not wearing all white beforehand, because I have shimmery shadow all over me. But my shirt's cute. Gerard Cosmetics. Love is love. Pride, baby. Next, it's time to use this Morphe flat packer brush. It's like a C-shaped brush. And now I'm gonna go into the shade Bailey, which is a beautiful blue. Honestly, I think the next look that I create with this palette is gonna be with only the blue column. That is something else I wanted to mention about this palette, is that it is laid out perfectly for you to create any monochromatic look you want by just using a column. You have your red look, your orange look, your yellow look. I just think that's really neat. There's not a lot of palettes made like that I've seen anyway. I'm gonna take this shade and apply it partially on top of the purple shade Confetti and partially on top of just the blank base. That way it can kind of blend as I'm applying it, hopefully, anyway, that's the goal. Now I'm gonna take the Morphe M508, which is another C brush, and now I'm gonna go into the shade Reagan. And again, I'm applying that partially on top of just the blank base and partially on top of the blue shimmer. And with these, I'm actually kind of going the opposite diagonal direction when laying them down, because I thought it'd be a neat idea if I had the crease going inward diagonally and then the lid going outward diagonally. I just thought it'd be a cool effect, and it's proving to be so far. And then we are on to the yellow shade, which is Firefly. This time I'm gonna use another C-shaped brush. This one's more like an oval brush, and it's another one from the Morphe Hit the Lights collection. Wow, this shade, that's gorgeous. That's gonna look beautiful on anything. And now time for the red. I'm going back in with another smaller brush. This time it's the Luxie 246 Precision Crease Brush. It is a very sharp brush, but it doesn't matter. I'm going into the shade Strawberry now, and I'm gonna take Strawberry and put her right on the outer edge. And I'm gonna go ahead and fill up just my full outer lid with this and bring it up into the crease to combine with the shades Pepper and Casey. Okay, that eye is all done, and I'm really, really excited. I like this so much. I love that it goes in and then out. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with that, but I am. I think it's really, really cool. And I also love how reflective it looks, because on camera, the intensity is nothing like what it is in person. On camera, it looks like it's mostly white with like hints of color. In person, it looks like it's the color it is with a hint of white, like it reflects white. So it's really cool. It's a nice shimmer formula that has really good coverage, lays down well, has a good reflect, but doesn't look chunky and cakey, and I'm really excited by it. I love this look. I was so scared working on that crease because I thought it was all gonna go to crap because it just wasn't working, but obviously, this is where the motto, trust the process, really comes into play, because I love this. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate the exact same thing on the other eye. Go ahead and get my face makeup done, my concealer, bronzer, etc., off camera, and once I do all of those things, I will be back and we will work on the lower lash line and put on the lashes, as well as seeing what this Suki To My Heart eyeshadow topper duo looks like. I don't know for sure if I'm gonna be using this, because this is really cool, and I might just stick with this, and I really don't want to ruin it, but we'll find out. We'll find out when we get there and swatch it and see what it looks like. So give me just a few minutes, more like 3 hours, but for you, it's only gonna be just a tiny little second, and I'll be right back. With the face makeup done and now the beautiful rainbow lashes on, it's time to finish off the lower lash line so that we can get it to match everything else. And I'm gonna just stick with the same type of color story and layout that I've been doing this whole time. I'm gonna use just the top row of shades, again, from the outer edge to the inner edge, and have the red meet up with the crease, then go into the yellow, then the green, then the blue, then the purple. So it will be completely mirrored all the way down. I'm gonna use the same Morphe M507 brush that I used with the shade Sadie and go into the shade Sadie. Then the M506 that I used with Cannoli, back into Cannoli. Now this time using a Luxie 121 mini tapered brush instead of the previous brush I went in with because the previous brush is way too big. And going into the shade Peaky again. It's so easy for colors like this to get messy on the lower lash line. It's really hard to keep them contained to just the lower lash line without them falling like way down onto the cheek. Then this bullet crease brush from the Morphe X Saweetie collection. I'm gonna go into the shade Yosemite. And now last but not least, gonna use this really thick smudger brush, I guess, from the Morphe 39L Hit the Lights brush collection and go into the shade Casey as my final shade on the lower lash line. And this one, I'm not afraid to take it around and then up because I want it to tie back into that crease and be the shade that makes it look like my lower lash line is connected to my crease. Which pretty much just means I'm gonna use it to fill in this little hole right here that's left. Lower lashes are done, and I think this is looking just marvelous. But now let's take a look at the e.l.f. x Jkissa, obviously, Suki to My Heart eyeshadow topper duo. This was $12 from Ulta, and it looks like it's a double-ended stick, or a double-ended component, I guess, that has one side of it as a white holographic kind of glitter almost. It has pink and green and teal and red, maybe orange glitter pieces, and then there's a green side as well, and it's like a olive green, or yeah, olive green, I guess, and it's got green, orange, blue, and I think purple glitter. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in so I can show you the swatch just on the back of my hand so you can see what this looks like. Okay, the white clear shade is the shade What a Pity Smile, like a pit bull, what a pity smile. It's so cute. I think I'm ready to be in a pride parade or at some carnival somewhere. I love that the eyeshadow was able to build up the pigmency to be able to flow with the lashes and just be a very pigmented rainbow look, that the eyeshadows work better on a tackier base, and it seems like the tackier it is, the better they perform. Not only did they build up faster that way, but they also blended out easier that way. I feel like I got a much better blend by packing them on then blending them out afterward. But I would say, for this being the first e.l.f. eyeshadow palette I've ever reviewed, I had a pretty good experience with it. The first time I used the green, it got a little bit patchy. I was able to build it up and blend it out for the most part, but it did still have a patch. I honestly think that's probably the worst color in this palette, but other than that shade, I had literally no other problems. I thoroughly enjoyed the palette itself, and I can't wait to utilize this even more. Mainly for the fact that I have the deep version of all my rainbow colors. As I've said before, this is something I've wanted for a long time within a palette when it comes to an all-in-one type of palette. And I think that if you're looking for a rainbow palette at a relatively affordable price, I think this would be a really good fit for you. If you can get your hands on this and you like playing with color, definitely would recommend. Even the brush set, it's a good all-around brush set. I wouldn't say you can create an entire rainbow look with just the set of brushes, but it is a good all-around brush set. Now the eyeshadow topper, I can't really speak to. I can speak to the colors, and that I do like the colors a lot. I just don't want to mess this up, and I don't know if it will, and I'm afraid to, so there's that. But aside from that, all around great experience, and I'm really happy we got to review this. I'm really happy that it worked out, and I'm excited to add this palette into my collection. As always though, I want to know what you guys think. Do you like the look? Do you like rainbow palettes? Are you a fan of building up all the color on the lids? Or do you prefer more of a neutral smoky eye? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know you guys' thoughts on the collection as well. I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in this video. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up because it does let me know that you like my content, but it also lets others know you like my content. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.